Today, we have the pleasure of hosting the incredibly talented NATHALIE Saldana, wedding photographer from beautiful Utah. NATHALIE has been capturing unforgettable wedding moments full-time for the past 4 years. Starting her journey with Lightroom, she is now exploring how AI can enhance her workflow while ensuring she maintains 100% creative control over her edits. NATHALIE's style is cinematic and brimming with emotion, a reflection of her unique ability to evoke genuine feelings from her couples. Today, NATHALIE will be sharing her first impressions using Polarr Next to see how our AI can complement her artistic vision. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe as we delve into the future of photo editing with NATHALIE. What's up, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a very special person here with me today, NATHALIE Saldana from Utah, a photographer and poet, right? You do some poetry and some modeling stuff, but I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself, who you are, how long you've done photography for, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so my name is NATHALIE. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Utah. I've been doing photography professionally for about 4 years now. However, I started when I was 16 with this cute little film camera I used to carry around everywhere. I also did have some experience in the modeling industry as well. So that definitely helped me a lot with, being in front of the camera and then learning to be behind it as well. So I'm really happy for where I'm at today.
That's awesome. So 4 years, that puts it like right at the start of COVID. Was it like your goal, like pre-COVID, to get into photography? Or was it something that just came upon you?
It was a mix of both. So I used to think about it like a lot when I was modeling, but then the thought kind of left my head throughout my teenage years. And I mean, during COVID, I was working at a car wash. So, it was a little bit rough. So I was kind of thinking like, oh, well, what's next for me? Am I going to go to college? And I actually originally wanted to go to college for film. I wanted to be a director, but that's really expensive. I also wanted to study abroad. And then I realized, I've always been passionate about like creating and capturing things. So I bought my first camera. Originally, I thought I was going to be a videographer. But when I started taking photos, it all just fell into place.
Nice. And so I could really see that strung through your work, your style. It seems very cinematic, very rich. And it's cool that like I can see how you can maybe connect, wanting to be a director with videography and stuff. And then now you're doing photography. There's a story to be told. And so how do you approach your photo shoots and weddings? Do you kind of approach it through that kind of avenue?
Oh yeah, I definitely approach it through more of like a documentary style lens. Of course, like I will still help, during a session, I will still help, my couples pose and I'll tell them what to do. But I like to do more prompts rather than put your hand up here. No, it's more like, run towards each other like you haven't seen each other in years and give me the best hug. And I always try to just incorporate some type of movement too. So it's not just like a still pose.
I really like that. And that's, that's something for sure that's when I talk to photographers, directing rather than like placing the hands and things like that. As a model, how is it for you when you're being photographed? Does the photographer have you place your hand and do specific, or do they also give you prompts to work through?
So as a model, I did a lot of commercial modeling. They actually expect you to know what to do. So starting out, the photographer helped for sure. They would tell me like, oh, pose like this. But like 1 year into my modeling, they kind of just expected me to know, like, if, you're going to show up to a shoot, you better know what you're doing. That was more for like boutiques and stuff like that, which I actually did go to New York and I attended Coco Rocha's model camp. So she taught me everything I needed to know about pose and just being fluid. I actually still use everything I learned from there in my photography today.
Wow. That's so good. And I've had clients, pretty much every client will come to you and say like, we've never done photos like this before. I'm walking in front of the camera. And you having that experience being a model, that must be very comforting, and like being able to instill that confidence in them that like, it's going to be fine. You can do it. And then you can like be example for them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. I think if I had $1 million every time somebody told me that they felt awkward and come in front of the camera, I'd be rich. Like
Yeah.
pretty much every time people tell me that.
So 4 years, you've been doing photography and your workflow. What does that look? How did that evolve and get started?
Well, when I first started, I mean, there's definitely like no workflow. It
Yeah.
was definitely a little bit rough terrain. I think I started off by sending my photos to my clients through Google Photos.
Okay.
And I mean, I always edited with Lightroom. That is one thing I did always do. I would upload them to my computer and edit them in Lightroom and then
Mhm.
send them off to Google Photos. I mean, now I do a better process. I come home from a shoot, I back them up to my SSD that I have, then I
Mhm.
upload it to after shoot, go through the photos, and then put them straight into Lightroom and get started on my editing.
Nice. I would say that's definitely evolved.
Yeah,
With
for
the
sure.
culling too, that must be much faster going through a program like Aftershoot rather than
Mhm.
doing it on your own. So with the rise of like AI and having these intelligent computers being able to help us with our tasks, was AI something that you jumped into right away when you started in photography, or how did you kind of get into that?
I actually hated it. I
Okay.
hated the idea of AI. I definitely have grown more to be open for it. I remember the first photographer that kind of told me about after shoot was like, "Oh, it really helps me cull my photos," because I would spend probably about 4 hours going through every picture. I'm
Hmm.
not even kidding. I would sit there, put on my favorite show, and I would sit there and go through every picture and 5 star everyone that I wanted to include. It was tiring. It was horrible. Like,
Yeah.
so, I was a little bit turned off because I was like, oh, well, what if AI misses a picture? Like, it won't do it like the way I do, like
Hmm.
they don't see art like the way I do. Cause there's a lot of photos, that it might look like a bad photo to any person that meets the eye, but I see like, oh, well, I could crop it and like see this intimate moment between these
Yeah.
two. Or like blurry photos. That's one thing I love to include in my galleries that
Hmm.
obviously an AI is not going to want to include a blurry photo
Very
because
true.
it's blurry. But that's kind of the art that I look for. So I was turned off by it at first. Aftershoot has been great for me because it kind of sections them. So it actually like takes all the blurry photos and it puts it in a section. Then it takes all the ones that the AI chose and then it has a section for you to go through and
Yeah.
choose which photos at the very end. So I actually did like that. So I do like using AI now.
Nice. And so doing that, getting it sped through so you can get them into Lightroom and start editing. What is your editing style like? How would you describe it in your own words? And then the other part of that is, how did you arrive at that type of style?
Wow. So I would describe my style now as very cinematic, cool, moody.
Hmm.
And, I'm heavily inspired by movies. It took me a long time to arrive here. I know that I always wanted it to be like this. Like
Hmm.
when I first started photography, I always wanted to edit cinematically. I
Okay.
started off first by being more towards the vintage and film side, kind of like really old and dated movies, lots of grain in my photos.
Hmm.
Um, I just have always been drawn to like older styles, like vintage and stuff. And I even will say, I think that that still shows in my photos today. I
Hmm.
started off with super film, vintage, grainy. Then I went to more of like a warm, kind of a little bit lighter, moody look. And then I'm where I'm at today after 3 years. So I haven't jumped around too much on my editing style. It's always been pretty consistent,
Yeah.
but it's taken me 4 years to get here. So
Wow. And that style, is it encapsulated in a preset that you've created for yourself? Like, is it something you can just click into nowadays?
yes and no. I mean, obviously I have encapsulated like my style into, I would say about 15 different presets,
Okay.
if I'm being honest, for all the different like lighting
Yeah.
situations and like flash, that kind of stuff. So yes, yeah, there are a few different presets that I like to try out in my photos. It's not necessarily just one set preset.
Nice. Okay. So today the purpose, we're looking into Polarr Next. I got to reach out to you through TikTok and it led me to your Instagram. And then I just really liked your style. And, when I'm looking for photographers to get on an interview with, a lot of the time, my biggest question is, are you able to achieve your style and look within Polarr Next? Because like for myself as a photographer, when I got started with Polarr Next, I was curious, could I deliver a final product that my clients will love, that it'll be my style and my type of work. And so I was able to answer that for myself, and I haven't used Lightroom since November. But today's video, to be able to get your first impressions, honest feedback, would love to hear it all. So I'm going to go ahead and switch our screen. And I know you got Polarr Next up, but as we are kind of working through this, I want to hear like what was your first impressions of Polarr Next when we jumped on our initial call and I kind of toured you around.
Yeah. So I was very open to hearing about Polarr Next. I'm never closed off. Like I'm never just set on one application. I'm always looking for something that can integrate better into how I work. And I loved the way that it looked. Like opening Polarr Next, I did like the layout of projects a lot more than what Lightroom has. I like that you can see, the albums just right out in front of you. I also like just like the super easy to understand, tutorials, projects, all right there on your side.
Nice. So we've got a project that you're going to bring in. So we'll go ahead and demonstrate that.
Okay.
All right. And this one is this an engagement or a wedding?
This was actually an engagement session I did last week up at Buffalo Peak, which is one of I think the most beautiful spots in Utah you could ever go to. Wow. For sure.
Yeah, I've only driven through. Go ahead and hit the edit files, the little note. There we go. Just to give Google permission. And we can do create new style. And let's do advanced.
Perfect.
So we can let Polarr Next pick through some references. And dang, that was super fast. Love it.
Yeah, that was amazing. Okay, got it. Well, normally I would start out with one of my presets that I have on Lightroom. Now I don't have those here with me. So can we import those?
Yeah, I was going to say if you wanted to.
I'd love to, because honestly without them, it'd take me forever.
Yeah. All right, so from Lightroom, you'll go to your preset panel. And then the one that you want to export, you right click. Or actually once, there you go.
Got it.
And then somewhere easy to find.
I'm actually going to rename it and just say.
Okay.
Just to make it easier. Okay. And then presets. Should I just do import?
So what you do is hit import and then find it on your desktop. There we go. And then I believe you got to do one at a time.
Okay.
There we go. All right.
Sorry.
Yeah, right there.
A second. I got a slow brain.
Nice. Okay, so before you apply it, there's one thing is, there you go. When you hit it, it'll apply the preset to all your photos during your setup. And that's something easily that you can turn off or turn on, however you want to do it. And then one other thing too is that when you apply it, the results will definitely vary from how they were in Lightroom. So the whole idea definitely is to go in and then adjust it to kind of where it was. But this is definitely a good starting point, I would say.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is a really good starting point. This is practically exactly where I had it. Let's see.
And it's kind of nice to be able to import it and then jump into Polarr Next and be familiar with the whole UI setup.
The whole thing. Do you guys have masking here on Polarr Next? Because with
Yes.
every time I do, I take a picture of a ring, I always mask it to like increase the clarity, the exposure, make it look really sparkly.
Yeah. So you can click the circle next to the Band-Aid on the right side.
Oh, I see. There it is.
There,
Okay.
and then create new mask and then brush. Or you can just hit the B. I swear I knew it was B, but I don't know. Just in my mind, I was thinking, what if it's not? And then one other thing, it does have auto mask on, which kind of like helps you stay within the lines. So you can kind of turn that off if you want. And then that'll help you get the whole diamond if you want.
Okay.
Now you'll be able to fully cover the ring.
Okay.
There you go. All right. And then if you click, it says like a show overlay layer. Sorry. On the little mask menu on the left.
Right.
Click that and it'll show you the red.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I was looking for. Let's do it again.
Okay.
This is, pretty much exactly how I'd edit this photo for sure.
Okay.
And this one was actually like spot on too. Just a tiny bit darker is what I normally kind of more into. But yeah, I think that's perfect. Yeah. Got the sun.
Nice. That's gorgeous.
Yeah. This one.
So this location, is it like a park?
No, it's not a park. It's in the mountains. It's like this huge, I can't even describe it. It's like this huge mountainside. You have to drive through a 10-minute dirt road to get here.
Oh, wow.
It's really beautiful for sure.
And I like their outfit. Her dress is very, reminds me of the Gabby doll from Toy Story.
Oh my gosh, I can totally see it.
But it fits that landscape. Oh, that one's really sweet.
Yeah, I loved it. So I do like to play with the greens sometimes.
HSL should give you the ability to
that's what I was looking for.
Work the greens. There you go.
Yeah, I think for this one I want it to be just a tad bit warmer than this color.
And that tree's got a lot of personality.
I know, right? For sure. Yeah, I really like how it just like automatically applied
your preset.
Yeah, to everything. It was super fast.
And one thing too, you have auto lighting and white balance toggled on too. I believe that's by default. So when you applied your preset, Polarr Next also adjusted the lighting and white balance. So that also kind of sped things up for you. But if you do like to do things a lot more manual and you'd rather, to have that full on creative control from the get-go, you can also toggle those off.
Yeah, I probably would toggle those off for the future, but I mean, honestly, it's been doing pretty good.
And one thing you mentioned too, earlier in our interview, you like to do like moody and cool, which is like very interesting because there's a lot of photographers out there that really, really warm things up. And I like that you kind of keep it more like less aggressive. And it's
yeah. I definitely like things natural. A little bit warm, but I don't like to over warm everything that like it
make the leaves brown.
Yeah, make the leaves brown. I really love including like the greens. That's something that's huge for me specifically. I love the greens to kind of like pop out. This pose was her idea and she was so happy to do it. It was so.
She looks very happy.
Oh yeah. She got so excited. She's like, I saw this really cute picture. I really want to do this pose up. And I was like, absolutely. I do like how it also has the auto straighten on for me. So I do also do that.
Nice. All right. So once you have them all dialed into how you want it, you can one by one in the top right, you'll see like a little circle that's glowing blue, mark as a reference. So just hit that toggle on each photo. You can even shift click them all and then hit the M key to mark them as a reference if you don't want to go individually. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Cool.
Nice. Okay, here we go. We're going to finish the AI style setup in the top right.
All right, let's see.
And there you go. So that's just our little warning to say, hey, the AI is not going to be perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
But the more that you get in there, start adjusting things and marking them as more references, the more the AI will learn your style. And so looking at the grid right now, how are the results coming out? Like having not touched any of those except for the references, do you feel like it definitely nailed it somewhat?
I wouldn't say nailed it. I mean, I think this picture, I don't know if you can see my mouth right here, is more like how I would edit. These two are like it's super dark. The greens aren't like as bright. So I'd probably go in and re-edit those.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Same with all of these. This one looks like it nailed it. That one was good reference. These actually right here looks like it pretty much nailed it. I definitely would make it a little bit darker. This one looks super good though. I would just change up the greens a tiny bit. But yeah, these all right here, pretty much nailed it. These I would also edit just a tiny bit. You know, the exposure and also the temperature just a tad.
Oh, I love that one with the moon. That one is just.
I know, and that one is actually I would definitely re-edit those for sure.
Yeah,
completely different. But I think it did a pretty good job. I think it did better than I expected for sure.
And real quick, is that a bow on his head? Her bow?
I forgot that picture. It was her idea. She really wanted to do a picture with him because she was just like, we're such a silly couple. She just really wanted to capture that.
All right. Well, before we close this up, I want to see you jump into one and maybe just update it. So there were some that you said you wanted to re-edit.
Yes.
Nice.
So for this, I'd probably make it just a little bit cooler and actually a little bit more pink. Also darker, and probably crop in just a tiny bit more on the moon, just to make that the main focus. And I always follow the rule of thirds too.
Nice. So when you make those adjustments, be sure to mark them as references too. So like when you're done, you just hit M or hit that toggle, and then that'll just continue training it. Nice.
I like that. I do like how easy it is to edit on here and just how quickly I feel like
you go from image to image.
Yeah, you can go from image to image and just how quickly it like copies and pastes the edits. Because I do that with Lightroom as well. Yeah,
and that was my big thing, you know, because I had used the different, again, like Aftershoot, Imagine. I used those. Yeah. And, you know, their interfaces, their programs may have been fast, but I still had to bring them into Lightroom, which slowed down my process.
I love how that updates the rest of them for me. That was really nice.
Yes, there you go. There you go. And when it updates, it'll look for the ones that are very similar. So you don't have to worry about it like really changing a lot of the different, like this one, for instance, being focused on the hands versus the fields.
Yeah. This one specifically, I'd probably put in black and white just because of how harsh the lighting is and how orange it is. It's a little bit harder to edit to look nicer. Yeah,
and it's such like a nice detail moment too.
Yeah, a very good black and white photo. So I actually do really like how I edited this photo.
Nice.
Yeah, normally it does take me, a lot longer to edit for sure. I do also like to go in and like create masks for everything and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. And the good thing too is when you do the masks and you have like similar photos in sequence, it will also update and copy over those masks.
Okay, I like that. Let me try that out.
This one, we'll see if it does, just because in this pose, yeah, you only have like one of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, this one's super specific too. I feel like that lighting is just a little bit different. Let's go ahead and try with that one, with this one.
So for your shoots, do you have your clients do you let them use different outfits?
Oh yeah, for sure. For
Nice.
sure. I'm such an indecisive person that like, I get it. I think for this shoot, actually, she brought 3 outfits. Mm-hmm. So we had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, because I was like just thinking, wait, did she have that yellow
dress on? Yeah.
No, yeah, I really love that. So does that kind of speak to like your experience in modeling with like fashion and things? Did you give them pointers of what to wear, this couple?
Actually, no. I told them, like they can wear whatever they feel the most comfortable in. Like I know they kind of have. If they ask, I do give them pointers, but I never do it like uninvited. Like I'm not going to tell you what to wear.
Nice. Yeah.
If you have a really special red dress that you want to wear, go ahead. I definitely love when clients dress more neutral, just because it's always easier. Distracts less from like their faces, that kind of stuff, but I was just giving them full freedom.
Wow, I really love how the light's just hitting her eyes right there. It's just like brightening me up so much.
Looked super nice.
So this is great watching you edit. It's so funny because we're so used to like how Lightroom works. And what you could be doing is marking them as references. And I believe the AI could be applying like a lot of those. Let me see this one here.
Oh yeah, see, I'm already copying and pasting like I do in Lightroom.
There you go.
Used to that.
It didn't update these ones only because they're locked. If you see in the top right corner, it does have the lock on these. Try go back to 1944. The next one over. There you go. And then unlock it. So go to the top right and then click that. There you go. And the AI just processed it. And then if you go that one, unlock it.
My bad. I see.
No worries. There you go. And now the AI just processed it there.
Okay. I like the way I edited the screen. I just the blue of the sky, so I changed it much better. Go ahead and mark it as a reference.
There you go. Yeah, and then as you do that, then it just trains it, starts to learn more of your style.
Yeah, this right here is pretty much exactly how I edit.
Nice. So you'll definitely want to mark that.
For sure. That's right. Oh, see, there you go. I got it. That's practically exactly how I like it. Definitely go more into the details like the subject. Just any bit further. I do like how fast this does edit. It is pretty nice. I do like that a lot.
Yeah, one thing, just talking with photographers, a lot of them, they're still kind of wary about AI, and that's all right, because a lot of people's expectations are different. Some of them expect AI to be like perfect. Some of them understand that it's like a working relationship. The more that you feed it and train it, the better it gets. So you really got to work with it and, be flexible with the imperfections, like how we started this whole session. There were some images when I asked you, like, did it nail it? And you're like, not really, a lot of the images. But as you go through and you start to dial it in, and marking them, you're going to train it. But like another benefit that you're going to get with Polarr Next is just, as you're saying, how fast it is going through re-editing them. Because the thing is, in Lightroom, you're still going to be doing the same editing. And that's what I would like pull my hair out, is just how slow and laggy Lightroom could be, you know? So, I love that you're making those comments. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, this is super, super nice. I think it pretty much nailed these.
I think we went a really good way. I don't want to torture you with having to edit them all. That is a great shot though. That dancing one at the backlit. Oh man, that was super nice.
This one is just like one of my favorites of these right here.
Yeah, and those are definitely ones you want to mark as references so that it trains. But we can pause here and we can go back to the grid view. So at the top, you'll see like 4 squares. There you go. So like overall, like how was that experience? Like after finishing that initial edit and then going through your photos and editing them, like how was that?
I feel like it was really easy. Definitely something I could totally get used to. And I think even when comparing it to, you know, how I would edit on Lightroom, it actually did a really good job. Like, let me see if I can pull them up kind of side by side and see how close they kind of got my style. I think it did a really good job. That's pretty much exactly the same, just by a few tiny differences.
Yeah, and I could probably guess you spent a lot more time on that Lightroom catalog, you know, before our meeting today, just dialing them in. So I feel like if you put like a lot more of that effort into Polarr Next, you know, once we're done with our recording and then you just do what you do, I feel like you could really dial it in and get those looks in. And
I definitely think so too.
So the last thing is when you go back to Polarr Next, in the top right corner where it says Nathalie's AI style, this is where you can rename it to whatever you want, you know, the location of this place, or you can just say sunset engagement or whatever. And then you update it. So now that style is yours, and any other sessions you do there, you know, when you go into Polarr Next, you can just select that style. And these 23 references that you just trained, you know, that will be applied to the next session. And then as you continue to use it, the more it learns, the better it gets. So I'm really excited for you to try that out.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. I actually really do like how easy this was. I think it definitely does take some getting used to. I'm very, very used to Lightroom for sure. I've been using it for like 4 years. So I'm very used to the copy paste, you know, adjust a little bit.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot.
All right. So I'm going to switch us back to the main view and we can start to wrap this up. I know I was asking your overall impressions and things like that, but what do you think about Polarr Next? How was that?
I think my overall impression, like, this is a great tool. I definitely think this could be up there with Lightroom for sure. I think it could be Lightroom's like really big competitor, especially with just how easy and, you know, how quickly it did nail my style. And I wouldn't say it's perfect. There are a few changes. Like I would definitely make it to probably like a lot, but I think it has a lot of potential to become like my new editing.
Yeah.
My new wave for editing for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome to hear. And the cool thing too that I like about it is all of these edits, the import, the edits, all of that was like for free. And the only time you pay for it is when you're ready to export. So you can get in, edit, adjust as much as you want. And then when you're ready, then you export it. And then that's when you use your credits.
Yeah, I do like that a lot as well. I think it's really nice to kind of, also another thing I just love, I mean, you said too, it's just so fast. It's so quick. so much quicker than Lightroom for sure. And I do actually like that it is on Google Chrome. and it's not something you have to download. I don't know if it's like that for anyone else, but my computer easily gets overheated, even when I'm just using Lightroom as my only application open. Yeah. If I use it for too long, it starts to sound like World War III is happening there. So
yeah, I know those days where like, okay, I'm in Lightroom, I can't open any other program. I can't, you know, and your computer is just like firing off, and that's so funny.
Yeah, and I have a new MacBook. It's not the newest one, but I think it's like a 2018. So it's not like it's old or anything. It's got good RAM, good memory. So yeah, I think not having an application is actually a really good plus.
That's really great. And thank you so much for sharing that feedback. Natalie, we had a lot of different obstacles come up during our recording, but I really appreciate you sticking through and making this happen and, you know, taking us through your editing process. Really love your style. And I look forward to seeing like more of your work get edited by Polarr Next and see what you can do with it.
Yeah, I love it. I'll definitely be trying you guys out with a few other sessions of mine. I do like this, and I think it's something that I could get used to for sure.
Awesome. Well, let's definitely stay in touch. Would love to have you back on sometime in the future. I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me on the interview. Yeah,
thank you so much, Aaron. It was great. Thank you again. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening too.
Thank you. All right, we'll see you later.
Have a good one.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and a huge thank you to Natalie for sharing her incredible insights into wedding photography and exploring AI tools with us. If you're as excited as we are about Polarr Next, you can try it out today by clicking the link in our video description. You'll receive 2,000 free export credits, which is a $100 value, so don't miss out. We're also thrilled to announce a new monthly live stream segment where we'll be teaching best practices for photo editing and answering any questions you might have. Our next live stream will be on July 24th at 11 a.m. PST, so mark your calendars and come join us for an interactive session filled with tips, tricks, and live Q&A. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss an update. We'll see you in the next one.